Okay, in section 2 we're actually still looking at the Pythagorean theorem, but we're looking at the converse of the Pythagorean theorem. Basically, we don't know if this is a right triangle, and we can use the Pythagorean theorem to show that it is a right triangle. Basically, if this is the hypotenuse, we can fit it into c squared equals a squared plus b squared, and what we're doing is we're saying we don't know if that's true or not, but we're going to test it. So we're going to take 3 rad 34, we're going to square that, and we don't know, but we're hoping it's equal to 9 squared plus 15 squared. So if we look at this, it's really 3 squared, which is 9, and then when we square root something and square it, it ends up becoming just this number right here. For example, if I did square root of 3 squared, my answer ends up being 3 because that's also the square root of 9. Okay? So this ends up being our answer because the squaring and square rooting cancel each other out. This gives me 9 times 34. We get 81 here and 225 here. So 34 times 9 gives us a 6 here. Carry the 3. Is that 306? And again, we still don't know if that's true yet. Hopefully this will be true here. That gives me, let's see, 81 gives me 306. So those are equal, so we can say yes, it's a right triangle. Okay? And let's see what they did. So again, we plug it into c squared equals a squared plus b squared. We don't know if it's true. We multiply it out. We end up with the same thing on both sides. Therefore, it is a right triangle. Here's another one. We can go through the same process again. Again, the way we know which one to make our c squared is we look at which one is the longest one. So what we want to see basically is 26 squared equal to 22 squared plus 14 squared. So let me get out my handy dandy calculator here. We want to figure out what 26 squared is. I believe that's 676, but I'm going to double check. Give me just a sec here. So we do 26 squared is 676. And again, this we still don't know if that's true, so we're putting that question mark there. 22 squared is 484. And 14 squared, I believe, is 196. Yes, 196. So we're going to add that to 484. And we end up with 676 here. And that ends up not being equal to 680 over here. So we would say not a right triangle. Okay? And that's going to be a lot of what your homework is tonight. It's just figuring out whether it's a right triangle or not. Now, the next example we're going to do is going to be looking at, first of all, we're going to see if this makes a right triangle. And what you may want to do, sometimes they put these out of order, so you may want to figure out if 4 rad 3 is greater than or less than 8. So, let's see, 4 times rad 3 ends up being approximately 6.9, so it's less than 8. So 8 would be, if we have a hypotenuse, 8 is going to be our hypotenuse. So we're going to say 8 squared here. We don't know if it's equal, but it's going to be 4 rad 3 squared plus 4 squared. This gives me 64. This gives me 16 times 3. And over here we have 16. So 64 is here. This gives us 48 plus 16. And again, all the time we're saying we don't know, we don't know. And finally, we say 64 is equal to 64. So we would say yes, it's a right triangle. And how about 10, 11, and 14. 14 it would be our hypotenuse. We say 14 squared, and we say question mark here. That's going to be 10 squared plus 11 squared. This is 196, and again we don't know, but it should be 100 plus 121, and we can see that 196 is not equal to 221. Whoops. 221, so therefore it would be no. Okay. Here's one more. Again, you want to look at square root of 61. Make sure that's the longest side. Square root of 61 is 7.8, so that is the longest side. We would say square root of 61 squared equals 5 squared plus 6 squared. Square root of 61 squared gives me 61, because again those two cancel each other out. We have our question mark all the way down. This is 25, this is 36. Over here we have 61, and over here that's 50, 61. So we would say yes, it is a right triangle. Okay? And that's it. Thanks.